Almost 8 billion people live on Earth wearing clothes on a daily basis. In order to satisfy the need of cheap and quick clothing, fast fashion was born. Lately, fast fashion has been heading towards a negative direction. Being interested by the people in my community, I listened to other students and teachers about making a change in our society. I'm Sylvia Lee, and I'm making this documentary to raise awareness on the problems within the fast fashion industry's mass production and consumption. Fast fashion emphasizes making fashion trends quickly and cheaply available to consumers. To see it with my own eyes, I went downtown and saw some clothes in the store replicating designs from professional designers in fashion shows. High fashion brand Gucci is the new millennium's trend. Let's say there's a Gucci pair of shoes that costs from $700 to $800. At downtown, I saw a trainer that's a replica of the design to the original Gucci shoes. These shoes are less than $10.
So, getting inspiration is one thing, but copying is another. I do think that people should be able to get inspiration from others' ideas, but I also think that we should always give credit. If we're getting inspiration, I think it's absolutely necessary to say where we got it from, because other people worked hard to get to that point where they've reached this particular design or whatever that they've made, and that may not have been an easy journey for them, and so we should always give credit.
According to The Economist, almost 300,000 tons of disposed clothes are ended up in a landfill. This situation causes your everyday's respiratory problems and skin disease from toxic chemicals.
We don't know, there hasn't been enough research, there hasn't been enough things happening as far as us knowing about the prolonged effect of things happening to the earth and happening to the plants and the animals and the things that grow on the earth, and then us putting them on our bodies.
It is disturbing that there's certain clothing that create breathing problems, skin irritation, and that you have to consider that because of the type of materials that they're using. I understand that sometimes chemicals are needed to make a certain style look the way they are. I understand that some companies do have a hard time trying to substitute certain chemicals to make the fashion or clothing look a certain way.
Majority of fast fashion brands are unethical in terms of exploiting the employees' labor. In 2013, a factory in Bangladesh collapsed due to fragile building constructions and killed over 1,100 employees who were paid minimum wage.
I feel like it's very unfair for them because, some people say that that's like their best alternative, but then I feel like that still they need to have their basic human rights respected, and it's clearly not being respected, so I feel really sad for them.
I think to say to stop buying clothes and products is unrealistic. We're not going to stop. But I think that we can take small steps, and my part for me is to reuse, to create new, and to try to sustain any kind of material or fabric or stuff as I can. I live in a country where I can't read or understand the language, so I'm at the mercy of buying things that I may not be able to read the label or understand where they came from, but I can reuse. I can make things out of my old clothes or other fabric that I find. I can promote it with my students. I can educate my students. I can teach clubs or lead clubs where we have upcycling or we remake or reuse things.
But there are alternatives, for example, like dyes. Instead of using chemicals or synthetic material, you can use natural dyes instead, or upcycle clothes or buy recycled clothing. So for example, there's actually a group in Daegu that meets every few months or so, and they do a clothing swap. So you swap your clothes that you're kind of tired of and that you don't wear as much, and you swap it with other people. because it's still good clothing, but maybe it's a new style that you want to try, but it's not completely buying a whole new wardrobe. So you're really recycling or upcycling clothes. So you just have to take little steps, like how can you, one behavior or one habit that you can change that can help our earth and combat all these depletion of natural resources, or even clothing too, or overuse of clothing or materials.
Our consumption and our waste has created a lot of problems, and the problems can be solved, hopefully, if we do something to change our behavior.
I feel like we have to kind of be aware of this like fair trade clothing companies, and recently I've seen a documentary about it, and then I know that there are many people who are trying to start a fair trade company, and I think we should use those clones and kind of be aware of all those like exploitations that are involved in making our clothes, and make sure we like just do not wear them.
As you can see, there is a dire need to change our conspicuous consumption of fast fashion in order to make the world a better place.